for me. I'm like, you could do no wrong now. I love your voice. I love everything about you. I'm hooked. I'm in. I'm all in.
I was waiting for it to kind of take off, and I felt like that never happened with the chorus.
It started off very exciting, and it kind of slowed down after that.
How do I relate to that? I didn't get the whole story.
This is an artist competition, and it's not just about their song and their singing.
You know, the artists have been through so many different processes during this whole season, and, you know, have had so much feedback from us. And I think, you know, at the end, they'll feel like, okay, I'm ready to go. The work has just begun, pretty much, right? Like, this just shows you there's more to do.
The world is upside down. I'm rethinking about all these guys and girls and what I thought about them, and then the general public.
Worst thing that you can say about a song, in my opinion, is it's dated.
Cool. Yeah, it's baby making music, but now that baby can drive legally. You know what I'm saying? Oh, I got Jen. Big laugh from Jen. Ooh.
CJ.
Oh, he's giving us that mysterious silence. Come on, you can do it.
You've loved him forever.
Yeah, let's not get
I do, but this is top 8 now.
So, it's time for you guys to decide the top 8.
Did you set an alarm for when anyone talks about the Beatles? It goes off.
Exactly. Beatle alert, Beatle alert.
Before we continue on, though, I just want to say something. Jen and I have had a very interesting relationship this season.
We have?
You know, I'm kind of the young.
Are you in love with me?
Ego guy coming in, and
here we go.
Are you in love with me?
It's very wisdom and sells the Airbon and has a great job.
It's called Arbonne.
Sorry. And she goes through hot flashes in every episode. But I'm just gonna say,
I'm sorry. I could be just because I could be your mother, and you're in love with me.
I'm trying to give you a compliment here.
Okay.
But I will say this: everything that Jen has said in the last, I think, 2 episodes was mirrored identically to what the industry professionals said. Everything that went, every negative or constructive criticism thing, I'm like, damn it, Jen said exactly that last week, and it was just like boom, boom, boom in a row. Jen, you're good at your job, all right? You know exactly what you're talking about, and I'm just some funny, muscular guy who comes into this.
Did you wait for the check to clear first before you said that?
Welcome to the Shot Remastered. I'm Sam Cook. For this round, we have put together a select gathering of industry professionals to take part in an unbiased and unscripted focus group. Our guests each represent a unique corner of the music business, and they'll be listening to and giving feedback on our top 14's original songs. Later, the feedback from our focus group will be presented to our judges, who will ultimately decide which artists will be moving forward to our top 8, the final crop of talent who will go on to perform at the finale, where one of them will be crowned the winner of this season of The Shot Remastered. Let's go ahead and welcome our focus group. All right, guys, let's introduce our industry panel right now. First of all, we have Dre Powell. Dre, hello. Dre is a creator and entrepreneur that develops social media content strategies for major brands as an operating partner at an international marketing agency. Some of Dre's former client projects includes Fortune 500 company Greenland Group, Cadillac Fairview, Swoop Airlines, and former manager of Taylor Swift, Rick Barker. Dre has been a songwriter as well for Spanish recording artist Shuso Jones, former Universal Music Spain. Dre, thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you guys for having me.
Next up, we have Joanne Vivalo. Joanne's diverse background in the entertainment industry bulges with brilliance from her early adventure in radio, television, and print. Turning to content creation and her flair for fashion, Joanne's recognition as a social influencer doesn't end there. She is an award-winning 5-time published author and blogger and continues to bolster the creative industry with a serious nod to having her novel, Protect Me Not, made into a movie. Joanne, that sounds so cool. Welcome.
Hi, guys.
Next up is Kay Parker, social media influencer, brand ambassador, and singer-songwriter. Kay Parker is the host of Music is Life, a brand new music-centric docuseries which will air on Industry TV, available on Apple TV, iOS, and Android starting in February. Kay, welcome.
Thank you.
Tyler Smith has been a part of the music industry as an artist, business manager, and professor for over 25 years. Tyler has spent many years as a working singer, songwriter, and actor, eventually transitioning to artist management, working with Chris Smith Management and her own agency marketing new artists and television personalities such as Food Network's chef Robert Rainford from License to Grill. Welcome.
Thank you.
This is going to be such a great morning. I'm so excited that you guys are all here. We have some amazing artists for you guys to listen to. And first up is Curtis Labelle. So before we get started with Curtis, I also should say too, producer Mike is in the house today. He's going to be helping us out and really showcasing these artists and helping me out. So Mike, say hello.
Hello, everyone.
You can't see him, but he's there. So Mike, let's get started with Curtis Labelle and let's take a listen to Curtis's track.
Don't wait for the postman. He don't have anything to give you. These city nights are out to get you. Don't wait for another. You'll be holding on to time forever. These boozy eyes are out to get you. Run, run away. Run, run away. Hey, hey, hey. Run, run away. Run, run away.
All right, there we have it. The first song from Curtis Labelle. Let's go around the room and let's get some feedback. So first of all, did you guys like the song? So let's start with you. Dre, what did you think?
Yeah, it was great. I think it had good energy. I liked the broadness of the runaway kind of theme. Right away, I thought the syncability of the song, how it could be used in different scenarios in a television show or in a movie. I thought it was good.
All right, Joanne, how about you?
You know what? I felt it as soon as it came on. It was very upbeat. The tempo was good. It was, as people would say, toe-tapping tempo. It reminded me a lot of Elton John, which is very familiar in the music industry. So it gave you a sense of comfortability.
Now, how about emotion? Did the song evoke any emotions for you guys? Did it bring you back to another time? Like, is it something that you could hear on the radio and be like, yeah, you know, that song reminds me of something? Did you guys get that kind of feeling when you heard it?
Sort of, I agree. It had a little bit of an Elton John feel, which, you know, from an artist perspective to me was a bit problematic because Elton John is Elton John. No one can replace him. It almost felt like a karaoke version of Elton John, which I thought was a bit of a, not a plus for him. I like the hook. The hook is good. But the lyrics off the top when you're saying don't, but then you tell them to run away from a songwriter's perspective, I felt lyrically it was a bit weak. But I like the tempo. It's not really danceable in terms of, dancing at the club. So I guess it's sort of like a riding in your car, kind of the top down kind of song. Yeah, it was okay. It was all right.
And is it something that you think has marketability potential? Something that could be on the radio?
Given the competition that's on the radio, I don't think it would stand up personally.
Okay. And what about other songs maybe from this artist? Would you listen to other songs from this artist? Kay, how about you?
Yeah, I would definitely like to see what more he has to offer. Just like Joanne said, I wrote upbeat. I love the piano. The tempo was great. It kind of is a nice walking song. Definitely 100% Elton John vibes for sure. Yeah, I'd be interested to see what he has to offer.
All right, so let's give this song a grade or a mark out of 1 to 10. So let's pretend we're in school. And Dre, 1 to 10, what would you give this song in this artist's song?
I'm going to be giving the song a 6.5. I think it's a good song. I think it's upbeat, but I do think in terms of if we are looking at marketability for radio, I think it's not quite there. Again, referencing what Tyler was saying about the competition. And also, I think I agree with Tyler's suggestion about the songwriting, but I do think it has great potential for especially someone who is doing some sort of show that would like an Elton John type song and can't afford Elton John. They would look at something, I think, in this ballpark.
Okay. Kay, what about you? 1 to 10?
A 6.
Okay. And Tyler?
I'll give it a 5.
Okay. And Joanne?
I'm going to give this a 6, and only because this is the very first song that we've listened to. It's really hard to put it on a scale comparatively to the other music and genres going into this category. But 6, I don't want it to sound like it's a bad score. 6 is actually a fair and a decent score.
All right. And before we wrap it up, if maybe I could get you guys to give me a 30-second synopsis. If you had this artist sitting in front of you right now, what piece of advice would you have for this artist? We're going to start with you again, Dre.
I think if the goal is to be on mainstream radio, I think we would incorporate a little bit more current elements into the song. I think it sounds a bit dated in terms of some of the production. I would make a few adjustments in the production aspect.
Sounds good. Kay, what about you?
I was actually thinking about when he kept on, I love the raspiness of his voice. And when he was saying run away, I would have liked to see a little bit like a softer, and as the song progressed, his voice continued with that, a little bit more dynamic, but I think he does have extraordinary talent, and I'd like to see him just continue moving forward and see what, like I said, what he has to offer in the future.
Perfect. Tyler?
Yeah, I would go back and I'd look at the lyrics and just make sure that the lyrics are congruent from the front, the verses to the chorus. Also, I'd love to hear some surprise elements in the song. It was a little bit predictable with the chord structure, so I'd love to hear some kind of surprise or fun in the production value as well. But otherwise, great job.
Great. And Joanne?
I would say just be mindful of your audience, who you're writing the song to. If you want a younger audience, I'm not sure this song would resonate with them.
Next up, we are going to hear from Gisele de Guzman. Producer Mike, take it away.
And we thought got the whole world under control. Spinning tires in the mud like we own this old dirt road. We get stuck, we're in luck, another truck will get us towed. Yeah, we throw our hands up, ready for another go. Fast gas pedal, that's all you've ever known.
right, Gisele de Guzman with her track. And let's start with Tyler this time.
Yeah, okay. So I like the sound of her voice. She has a really cool sounding voice. I will say, you know, the whole point about songwriting is to communicate, right? You want to communicate with your listener, obviously get things out too. But, you know, you have to be careful that songwriting isn't just a therapy session. You want it to connect with your listener. I probably understood maybe 1 in 10 words that she was saying. So therefore I couldn't connect with her. From a song structure point of view, I didn't find there was a strong enough hook for me to hook into the song. And because I wasn't understanding what she was saying, I couldn't find the hook. There wasn't a lift in term melodically, the chord progression, wasn't much of a lift to bring me along to some kind of a crescendo. So there was that too. I like the sound of her voice. I think if she had some good songwriting partners and some coaching, I think she could be really great.
Awesome. Kay.
Yeah, I was gonna say the same thing as Tyler. When I was listening to her song, her voice is very unique. I love the sound of her tone. But I kept on waiting for something to bring me into it. I was just like, where's the next? Bring me in. And I didn't catch a lot of what she was saying lyrically, but she does have a lot of potential for sure.
Okay. Joanne.
I want to say that I was very excited to listen right from the first beat. I have to say it started off very exciting and it kind of slowed down after that. Her raspy and wispy voice is very mysterious and mystical. You wanted to listen to her, but I felt like the song wasn't memorable.
Dre.
Yeah, to kind of agree with everyone saying, she definitely has a great voice. For me, the song itself did kind of stay sort of in the middle. I was excited at the beginning as well, but I was waiting for it to kind of take off, and I felt like that never happened with the chorus. I also feel like this was very raw. This seemed like it seemed like an early demo of the song. So even just for the vocal performance itself, I felt like she had way more energy in her that she wasn't really letting out. So something tells me it was kind of an earlier demo version, but I think what really stands out is her voice. It is a great sounding voice.
Rate the song from 1 to 10.
I agree with Dre. This sounds like an early iteration, so I feel it needs a lot of editing, maybe some co-writing help. So I'd probably give it around a 3.
Okay, Dre.
I'm gonna give it a 5.
Kay.
3.5 for me.
Joanne.
I'm going to give this one a 4.
Okay, thank you so much, everybody. That was Gisele de Guzman. Mike, you still good?
Yep.
All right, you guys still good for another one? All right, here we go. Next up is Johnny Starks. Ladies and gentlemen, Johnny Starks. All right, let's work it out. Tyler, what do you think?
Okay, so there's a few things. I'm lucky I got to read the title because I actually thought he was saying no bottle holds a kettle. And I'm thinking, why is he talking about bottles and kettles? I didn't get it. And then it took me about, I don't know, the third of the way of the song to realize he was saying nobody holds a candle to you. So, his enunciation was a bit off. Leading into the chorus, so the 4 bars before the chorus is the pre-chorus, there was some funky chord progressions happening there. I felt like he was trying to lift it into the chorus. And then, some weird chord progressions there. And then it kind of dropped into what felt like a broken down version of the verse. So melodically, I didn't find the song that inspiring. I think he's got a cool sounding voice. So there's definitely some talent there. I would suggest a co-write and a co-writer. And just some modern production values, I would say. Work on the production values as well.
All right. Kay, what do you think?
I'm going to talk about a little bit at the end of the song. I don't know if that's kind of like him adding his own personal swag to the song, but I just found like he was filling in gaps. Like with the na 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 part in the ending, like I think that was him trying to be like folky and just kind of making it his own, but it just kind of felt like he had an ending that just needed to be filled. I do love his voice. I think it's great. I do feel like the way the song was created and the way it matched his voice was kind of, I'm trying to find my words here, but it just didn't feel like it went together.
Dre.
Yeah, I think the one thing that stood out is he definitely had good character and good energy to his voice. In terms of the song itself, again, this felt really raw. This felt unfinished. There were some good ideas there, but it seems like this is definitely not a finished song for me. And a huge problem I was having was understanding the lyrics, especially for this one. So it was really hard for me to connect to the song because I honestly didn't know what he was saying. But what did draw me in was that energy. So it's great that he has the character and energy, but the song's just unfinished in my opinion.
Okay. Joanne.
Okay, so Johnny Starks, I feel like his tonal techniques were really good. I enjoyed it. His musical texture I felt like it was kind of Stray Cats, but a very slow version of Stray Cats. I wanted his song to really speed up. I wanted it to pick up and to feel like I could jam to it a little bit more. And so for me, that was a little disappointing that it didn't do that. I thought he had great vocals, absolutely. But I kind of, in terms of where I saw this going, I kind of felt like it was almost like a TikTok meme where people are like, hey, listen to this at 3 times the speed, only because I felt like it was a little slow.
He needs somebody to give him a little hand.
All right, so let's break it down 1 through 10, and we are going to start with Dre.
I'm going to give this a 4.5.
Joanne.
I'm going to give this one a 5.
Tyler.
3.
Kay.
3.5 again for me.
Okay, that was Johnny Starks. Next up, we are going to hear from artist Patrick Clark.
Ever since we were in the 4th grade, she was singing lessons, ballet, leading the play. I should have known it'd go down this way. She was a star in the making. Late nights we'd be hitting the drive-ins, black and white movies, she's quoting the lines, and she was always shining, way too much for this place. Maybe I should be holding out hope, but deep down I already know that girl is on airplane mode, good is gone, got her headphones in and her blinders on, set her sights on the Hollywood sign, won't stop till her name is up in lights. Good God, it's hard to let her go, but I always knew she was headed down this road. Well, Wish I could stop her, but I know I won't. That girl, she's on airplane mode.
That song started, and within the first 30 seconds, literally everybody was doing this. Okay, that's the what everyone's had. And not only that, but something I haven't seen yet is Tyler and Kay with the biggest grins on your faces. And I'm like, and I could see Kay throughout just like, yes. And Tyler, this is like, you are like into it. So let's hear a little bit of feedback.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. I love the values. Really great. That mandolin sound was fantastic. Reminds me a lot of Luke Bryan, Rascal Flatts, good Nashville writing. It was great. The hook, airplane mode, it's current, it's modern, totally. I thought that was great. If I could give him a little feedback and vocally from one vocalist to another, really develop that upper range, because he really sat in his comfortable, sweet sounding mid-range, but I'd love him to stretch that upper range and bring a bit of that energy into the song, a little bit more grit, especially in the outro. But yeah, great job, Patrick. Yeah.
Hey, let's hear it.
Oh, I'm a huge fan. As soon as he started playing, I was like, oh, I'm gonna like this one. And yeah, right away I knew everything that we've been talking about so far with the other artists, I feel like he really brought to the table. I liked when he said the word stop, everything stopped, and then it continued to go. I love the little surprises when he like actually did the little talking in between, and it was kind of like a fun little, oh, he's bringing some reality into it. He really did a good job of connecting. I was like, I'm that girl. Like, I really love the song. And he was really clear with his lyrics, and I was able to follow it along and know exactly, I could visualize it. I felt like I was in the song with them. So I love this song. I could totally see him I could add it to my iTunes right now, and I could be listening it while driving the car and just singing along with him. It's a great song. He did a really good job.
A little bit more energy and character in the voice. I feel like it's something I'm repeating, but I feel like it's so important. And it's not that, it was lacking character, because I think it was a great song, but I think that I could hear in his voice that he had more in him. And I think that if he brought that to the song, it would take it to an even higher level.
So Tyler, from 1 to 10, what would you give that song?
Yeah, I'd say about 8.5.
Okay.
I'm gonna give it a 9.
Joanne.
I want to say 8.5 as well.
Dre.
I'm going to give it an 8.5.
Oh, 8.5? Okay.
Yeah. Did you get that? Yeah.
Yep, 8.5 is perfect. Excellent. Thank you, everybody. We're going to move on to our next artist. It's Evan Farrell.
Your truck can beat mine in a race any day, anytime. Built for the blacktop, leaving them cars in the dust. Your shoes were made for looking, sitting on a shelf. They never took them outside of the box, afraid of a little scuff. Yeah, that's what they were built to do. And I'm a little more for lying down than back roads, singing with the sound of George Strait on a stereo, shouting out to check yes or no. I'm proud of who I am, and that's a fact. Yeah, I was built like that.
All right, Evan Farrell. Joanne Vivolo. Thoughts, comments, concerns?
Why did I know you were going to pick me first on this one? I didn't feel the energy in this song. I know it was very upbeat, but it wasn't resonating with me, and I can't really point my finger on why that was, but I felt like it sounded kind of muddy. I felt like the pitch was off slightly. It was very strong instrumentally, but I felt like the vocals didn't really complement the instrumental part of it. And I almost feel like I don't really hear it on the radio, but I do kind of see this as a truck commercial jingle.
Oh, interesting. I'm gonna write that down. All right. Okay.
When the song first started and his voice, I was like, my face kind of was like, oh, I was a little shocked by like the deep register there. You could tell that he was really trying to use his vocal range throughout the whole song. He was really deep when it was just like in the very beginning, and then as soon as it would go into like the chorus, he would have like another vocal tone in there. So trying to like follow the different ranges that he had was interesting. I just don't think it really blended well together. It's definitely very country, and he does have like a great voice. I think he could, with some work, he can do a lot with it. Yeah, it was good.
Dre.
Yeah, I had the kind of the same reaction when the song started. It kind of was exciting to have that strong low vocal range at the beginning. But my critique would be, especially for the chorus, I loved how he was trying to showcase how he could go into a higher range, but I feel like it felt a little bit flat and it needed a little bit more control in that chorus. But you could tell that he has it, because especially at the end of the song, when he belts it out, you could hear he has the strength in it and it's there. It just, I think, needs a little bit more attention to control.
If we were going to rate that song from 1 to 10 for Evan Farrell, I'm going to start with you, Dre. What would you give this song out of 10?
I'm going to give this one a 7.
Tyler.
I'm going to give it an 8.
Kay.
I'm going to do a 7.5.
Joanne.
For me, this one's a 4.
Okay. Excellent. Thank you guys so much for your feedback. All right, everybody, let's check out Christine Jackson.
I just can't keep holding my breath, 'cause I'll be 6 feet under there. To you, you know my intentions, they are true, but I can't keep waiting for you. I just can't keep holding my breath. I remember when I was a little girl and you were there for me.
All right, Christine Jackson, let's get right into it. Kay, what are you thinking? How you feeling?
So as soon as I heard it, I had like a really nice smile on my face. She had like the most beautiful melody. Her voice was beautiful. It's so soft and comforting. I could totally see myself just like putting on her voice and having a morning coffee, and just, it's a very relaxing sound. I had a little bit of like Sarah McLachlan vibes actually, a little bit with her. And the only thing that I would say that I kept on questioning was where she was putting her harmonies. That's kind of like my only comment about that.
And if you could give her advice, what would that be? How would you change that?
That's what I was trying to figure out. It just seemed just to not fit. Like it was just kind of like they added it here and added it there, and I would just kind of like to see the song like flow a little bit better. But she does have a lot of potential, and I could totally, like I said, see myself listening to her. Yeah,
Okay.
she's really good.
Dre, thoughts?
Yeah, I love her voice. Like, it's believable. I believe her when she's singing. It's very soothing. And for me, the song, I would have loved to hear a little bit more diversity. I did also for this song feel it kind of stayed in the same place for it. But I'd love to hear more from her because I feel like, I don't know, not to say that this isn't what I would go with a lead single, but I do feel like there may be some different diversity that she can add to the song itself.
Okay. All right, Joanne.
Okay, so I really liked this song, and just taking all of the professionalism and what you should and shouldn't do out of it, just as a listener, without knowing any background on any kind of structure or whatnot, I felt like it flowed really good. It was something that you could put your headphones on and sink into. I felt like it flowed very naturally. I loved the harmony element. I don't know, the science behind the harmony, but I do feel like the harmony element worked for her in that song. It was very sultry and soft. It felt warm and soothing, and I enjoyed it.
Tyler.
Oh my gosh, I'm sorry. I feel like I'm going to be so unpopular. First of all, her voice is really pretty. So there's that. I really appreciated her voice. The song, it felt to me like a therapy song. Like, I'm having a bad day, I'm sick and tired, and I'm gonna write about it. But from a connectivity point of view, I didn't connect to the lyric. Okay, so you can't keep holding your breath. Okay, now what? Like, how do I relate to that? I didn't get the whole story. So lyrically, I didn't feel like she had painted the story enough for me to be able to join along with her on her journey. The vocals, although sweet, I felt were a little bit weak, definitely. And I agree the harmonies were, maybe an attempt to beef up the song a little bit, but it didn't quite work for me. The guitar definitely needed some work. I would, if I were to give her some advice, I would say get a co-writer, really flesh out those lyrics, flesh out the story of the song. What is it that she's trying to say to the audience? Because it is about an audience. Otherwise, you're just singing in your living room by yourself. And then get some good production values around it.
Okay, and so I love that you just gave the 30-second synopsis there, and I'm going to get to Dre, Kay, and Joanne in a second. But I did want to ask you a question because I noticed this came up a few times, and I think a lot of you have said this. When you talk about like therapy songs, as someone who's not a singer-songwriter, I assume that a lot of these songwriters, they write from obviously experiences. And when you say therapy songs, are you saying like they're putting it on paper to get their own feelings out? Is that what you mean by that?
Yeah, and really music is a great way to get your feelings out. But if you're creating a song to have to connect with an audience, you have to tie it around. You have to bring the audience in. You can't just create this wall of I can't hold my breath. I mean, you're creating a wall. You have to bring the audience in when you're talking to the audience. Say, listen, I can't keep holding my breath. How about you? Have you been there? Have you ever experienced that and felt like you're in a relationship and you just can't keep holding your breath? So there's a huge difference between I can't keep holding my breath to how about you? How do you feel? Okay. Right? And that difference between the amateur and the pro is to be able to bring people into your sphere.
And I think that like the only way I can relate to that is radio because I was a radio host for decades. And it's like, you can never, nobody cares about your personal issue. But when you start saying, how about you? How do you feel? And when you start connecting to that one person and it's not you're talking to an audience, you're talking to one person sitting in their car, in their bedroom, and they're listening to that going, damn, yeah, I can relate to that. So I'm assuming it's the same kind of thing.
That is so on point. That's exactly it. So when I used to teach songwriting, I would say, pretend that you're in front of somebody and you're singing this song to them, and then you're asking them to join in with you, right? Are they going to feel like joining in? Is it going to be a natural for them? And that's that communication that I keep talking about, because songwriting is about communicating.
All right. And Joanne, we'll just start with you. Rating the song from 1 to 10.
I kind of loved it, but I want to give it a 7.
Okay. Kay.
7.5 for me.
Tyler.
6.
Dre.
6.5.
All right, we are going to move along right now to Michelle Kasiboski.
How do you write a song about someone who did you wrong, and all you have are ballads? If you're not really in the mood for a misty, stormy weathered blues, perhaps it's time to try something new. I'm gonna swing my blues away. I wanna sing about somebody great, and that's not you anymore. Since you walked out my door, 3 strikes you're out. That's 4.
Michelle Kasiboski, what are we thinking? What are we feeling? Dre.
Yeah, so it was a bit of a surprise for me compared to the other songs we've listened to. It definitely stood out in that aspect. For me, it doesn't seem like it doesn't seem right for the competition. It seemed a little bit out of place in terms of like if we're looking for a hit song that I think could be radio friendly or marketable in a current market. I don't think it fits, but oddly enough, I think there's a specific niche audience for this, especially on TikTok. Over the last year, there was a song, "Oops," "My Heart Went Oops," that was in the same like vein of this genre. And there's a couple influencers doing old style acting skits that I think would use this song. So I wouldn't know how to market this song, but I don't think it's something that we would hear on the radio.
All right. Kay.
So I was laughing to myself when I first heard her voice because I was like, God, she's like Cinderella in a Disney movie. Like that's like the very first thing that I thought of. And when I listened to all the artists, I kind of imagine what would I be doing? How would I be listening to them? Like, what can I see myself? Like, I want to put myself in that kind of environment. And right away, I was like, I can see, like, I used to work at a winery, and this is the kind of style that we have for like jazz festivals and for eating at a bistro. Like, this is a music that you would hear in the background. And, or like when you're having lunch and they have just like a little trio and like in the corner just playing. And just like Dre was saying, this style is very targeted and it has a very, unfortunately, a smaller audience. So it's very hard to be able to market the song and the style of music to reach everybody. But it's so well done. I loved it. And yeah, she's great. Everything about this song, like I really enjoyed.
Joanne.
Okay, this one was fantastic. It really was. I'm not sure if it was made for mainstream radio right now, but it was definitely made for the movies. I want to say she has great vocals. It's catchy. 3 strikes, you're out. That's 4. It's memorable. It's something that you can take with you and maybe even use as a hashtag or something on one of your social platforms. The melody is catchy. I feel like I fell into a time warp. It was really phenomenal for me. The harmonics, I think, belonged to that genre and her style. So I think that she did a really great job on that. The articulation of her lyrics were on point. And I feel like the tempo was kind of perfect.
Perfect. And Tyler.
Yeah, there's so many great things in this artist and this song. And I would just say, and thank goodness we don't rely on mainstream radio as much anymore for our careers, right? There's a lot of different ways to make money outside of mainstream radio, although we certainly appreciate mainstream radio. So she reminds me of kind of a lighter version of Diana Krall and Holly Cole and Carol Wiseman. there's a huge market for singer-songwriters like this. It's absolutely massive, not only just in Canada, but worldwide. She could find a huge audience if she had the right team of people around her. There was she has a great personality. There was actually humor in the song. I mean, how great is that to have some humor in the lyric? Her sax solo busted out with a bit of Time After Time in the solo. That was very, very cool. Yeah, I really loved her. I think she'd be great. I do feel she needs to work on her vocals. They're a little bit thin. So I would definitely work on those vocals, but again, a good vocal producer could help her with that. I thought she was great. Really liked her. Yeah.
Joanne, the song 1 to 10.
I loved it. I'm giving it a 9.
Tyler.
10.
Kay.
9.
Dre.
I'm giving this a 9 as well.
All right, up next, we have Jessica Liang.
Who's that standing right there? Soft eyes and black hair, flowing in the sea breeze, glowing and feeling free. But where are you from? Thought she needed to change. Got rid of her last name, maybe with a white dress. They wouldn't see her golden chest.
All right, Jessica Liang, we're gonna start with you, Dre. First initial thoughts.
Yeah, I feel like I keep saying this as we keep going, but this is probably my favorite vocal that we've heard. Her voice is just, I know, it reminds me of like an Ellie Goulding style voice. I'd love to hear this on an EDM track, but yeah, the song was great. I think for me, the thing that I would have liked to see worked on was a little bit of the hook. For me, the hook wasn't super memorable. It wasn't something that I think has a lot of replay value, but I think her voice is awesome and I'd love to hear more of it.
Okay, Joanne.
Okay, that's me. Okay, so my initial response to this was it was kind of soft and a little juvenile. And when I say juvenile, I feel like it might be targeted more to an extremely young audience. I felt like we were bringing Britney Spears back a little bit. It was very Britney. It also kind of gave me game show vibes for whatever reason. I didn't, as I got into it and listened to it a little bit more and I closed my eyes, I thought, okay, it could be a melody for the radio, but I felt like it might have worked better as a duet with somebody else that could offer a different kind of tonal input to it. I felt it was kind of wavy. I didn't love the abrupt ending. And I did also feel like the hook was kind of flat.
Okay.
I loved it. I think her voice is so unique. The intro grabbed me right away. I love the production of the actual song. Everything behind her vocal was so well done. It flowed really well together. I was vibing the entire time. It was a nice surprise. I'm really, really excited about her.
Tyler.
Oh my gosh. Okay, I have a novel. Sorry, I will be very quick. Okay, so whenever you blow a lot of air through that vocal, you still have to have a tone in there. So people who do it really well, Sarah McLachlan, Nora Jones, very nice airy sound, but you still have a beautiful full quality to the vocal. So again, I would suggest a little bit of work on making sure you get really the center of the pitch. I like my colleagues here, I didn't find that there was much of a hook. There was a nice lift. I found the pre-chorus had a nice lift into the chorus, and then it kind of died a little bit to me. I really liked the bridge. I thought, oh wow, this is going somewhere. It's really cool. And then it was like 8 bars too long, and it didn't really go anywhere. Let me see. Okay, I think I can stop there. But the song needs a lot of work. And then if you think about from an artist perspective, a touring artist, could you sit through an hour and a half, 2-hour concert of that? I personally would not do well having to listen to her voice like that for 2 hours. So I think her voice needs some work. She needs a good team around her.
It's so funny because I'm on the total opposite spectrum where I'm just so in a trance with her voice because I just found it so unique that it kind of brings me just wanting more to see what else she comes up with. But they are 100% in what they're saying. It's just I'm very excited to see like what she can do.
So I'm assuming when you give Jessica a grade from 1 to 10, you're going to be somewhere in the
high. A little bit higher, like 7.5, 8, just because I really, really love the uniqueness of her voice. And I just like when people are different from the rest.
Tyler, what are you thinking? 1 to 10?
1 to 10, I'll have to go with about a 5.
Dre?
I'm going to give this a 6, but I feel like the voice is more than a 6 by far, but I'm going to give this song a 6.
The song, yeah, okay. And Joanne, the song? What are you giving 1 to 10?
I think when you're working in a very competitive industry, this song grades about a 5. It needs some work.
Okay. All right, that was Jessica Liang, and up next is John Muirhead.
Woke up in some northern Ontario town. I was further from home than I felt. I sang with some strangers, I drank with them later. Next morning the road stared me down. And all of the hours I spent on the road outnumbered the people that came to the show. But it could be my last, so I'll play at full blast, and I'll pack up my gear and I'll go.
All right, John Muirhead, grab your red Solo cup, everybody. That's how I felt. But anyways, it's not about me. It's about you guys and what you think. So let's start with you, Kate. What did you think?
I was just laughing because the first thing I wrote was campfire jam.
Right?
Like, I just want to like go and like have like a keg with all my friends and just like, it's just one of those things where you go around, you grab your guitar and you're all singing along, and you can just tell that his energy and vibe towards music, he just loves doing it. And even what he said in the songs, he's like, it's all right, I'm just doing my thing. And you can just, I feel very like he has a very carefree like aura about him. It's a great storytelling piece. You can definitely see like what he's talking about, and you kind of like think back to like when you were doing those things, and especially living in the country, I'm like, oh yeah, like I've done those nights. It was just a nice relatable piece. It was really like nice and light lifted as well. It's a good song.
Dre, did you feel that? Did you feel it was like a lighthearted? And I feel you've got guitars on the back wall there. I feel like I could just take one of those down and just like, you know, sing along. What do you think?
Yeah, right away, actually, the first thing I wrote down was how much I loved the storytelling element of the song. And I like the structure of the song as well. It had a good energy to it. And he knew what he was doing with the song. You know, it's a fun sing-along type song that's kind of showcasing the life of an artist. In terms of marketing the song, I think I right away thought of TikTok again and just talking about, you know, the life of an artist and the different things that artists go through. I think that appeals to people who love creativity, but I also think there's a major audience that loves seeing, you know, the different struggles that artists go through. And I think it seems like he's owning that, and that's what his brand is that he's going with. And yeah, I think this could do well.
And you're nodding your head, Tyler. That's you're in agreement?
Oh yeah, I actually forgot I was supposed to critique the song. I was just kind of enjoying it, and it kind of reminded me of the days of some great folk Canadian singer-songwriters like Ray Forbes and Sherry Elrich, the Pied Pumpkins. I wrote a few down. Hometown Band, Canadian bluegrass. I mean, it's. I feel it's so authentic to us as a nation. So that's very cool as well. And I thought he was kind of fun and young and modern. I would definitely tighten up the band. That kind of instrumentation, while loosey goosey is, everyone gets around the campfire. I think if you want to record it, it's got to be tightened up a little bit. But yeah, I really enjoyed his voice. I loved the whole thing. I would definitely go and see him for sure.
That's a huge statement right there. Yeah, because nowadays, right, people have so many artists to choose from and who they spend their money on. So for you to say that, like, I'd spend my money going to see this artist, that's a big statement. Joanne, what do you think?
Yeah, I also felt like this was very fun. I could feel his emotion in the song, even though it wasn't like hardcore raw, but I could actually feel the element of his emotion in the song. I love the instrumental dynamics that he kind of used within his song. I felt comparatively, I felt that I could relate it to the Pogues in a small way, or maybe even like a Bare Naked Lady / Stomping Tom Connors. I felt like it was very texturized. I did feel like his vocals were a little choppy, that he could have worked on that a little bit. And this is one of those songs that I personally feel like I would need a few pass-throughs to really get the total juice out of all of the song.
In terms of giving the song a grade from 1 to 10, Joanne, what would you give that song?
I'm going to give him a 7.
Okay, and Dre, if you could give 30 seconds of advice to John and rate the song from 1 to 10, what would you do?
Yeah, I think, like I mentioned earlier, I love the structure of the song. It has good energy. I think he knows who he is by listening to the song. I would be focusing on how we would market the song. And I think him establishing his TikTok presence and getting ready to be a little bit vulnerable and show what his process is like, I think would go a long way with the song. So I liked it.
And what would you grade the song?
I'm going to give this an 8.5 out of 10.
Perfect. Tyler.
Yeah, I agree with everything that Dre just said. Also, again, what Joanne said about the vocals for sure, and earlier, tighten it up. Yes, these songs are fun, but it still there's musicality involved, so definitely tighten it up. And then think about himself as an artist, an hour and a half of this and what kind of journey he's going to bring the audience along for. I think he should think about that and weave a story. Other than that, I loved it. And I'd give it a 9.
Okay. Kay, what about you?
Yeah, Tyler took the words right out of my mouth. I'm going to give him a 9, but to just kind of piggyback on what she was saying, I'm interested to see the kind of dynamic as he is as an artist. And if he was to create an album, like, you can always have the fun song, but how is he going to pull it all together? I'm really interested to see his future songs and how it all kind of connects together. I find nowadays a lot of people have like a really good song, but I remember buying an entire album and listening to it from the start to the finish and being like, okay, I'm gonna follow, oh my gosh, this happened, then this, and it all connects. And that's what makes an album. And I feel like nowadays, when I don't wanna spend money to go see an artist that I know one great song and I'm jamming out, and then I'm just like, oh, well, these songs are nowhere near that. I wanna find an artist that pulls me in for the entire album. So my favorite artist is Tom Petty, and every song I didn't want a bathroom break. I was in there with him, and anytime he came to town, I was like, I need front row. I want to feel the sweat. I need to be like, Tom Petty is my entire world. And I just want those artists to come back, like Pink Floyd and Queen. And I miss that. Sorry, my rant's over.
No, that's great. Yeah, we're all in agreement. Yeah, absolutely. We're all agreeing with you. All right, that was John Muirhead. We are moving forward, and this artist is Tamie Opalai. Tamie Opalai, I am going to go to Dre. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, so right away, I mean, the energy got me. I think it was nice to hear, a full rounded song, the full production of the song. He's got a cool tone to his voice. For me, I think the genre is such a competitive genre. So for me, I think it really needs to have an element. A song looking to compete at this level would need to have an element that's super memorable. And for me, it really didn't have a super memorable element to it. I think it's a good song and it's fun, but in terms of replay value for me, it fell a little bit flat. I think he's got a really cool voice.
Cool voice, okay.
Yeah.
All right, Kay, what are you thinking?
So I'm not a producer by any means, so if this sounds off, I apologize in advance. But when I first heard it, I felt like the instrumental portion of the song took over his vocals. It kind of, like his vocals fell beneath it. I did love the percussion aspect, like I was kind of grooving the whole time. But yeah, just like Dre said, I love his tone. I think he has a great voice. Yeah, that's all. I just kind of was, the instrument, I think, I don't know if whatever has to be adjusted, but it just, I felt like the instruments kind of took over and his voice got lost in it a little bit.
Okay, so the piece of advice you would give would be just to kind of work on the production a little bit. The production.
Yeah.
Okay, Tyler.
Okay, so I agree with everything that people are saying. He does have a really nice tone. The song itself, however, I felt was really weak. The hook, I think it was Here For You. I try not to look at the title so I can, see if I can hear the hook. It's a little bit cliche. It didn't bring me in emotionally at all. In terms of what I feel I could say in terms of the production, there was so much syncopation going on, in the rhythm, and then he was doing a lot of syncopation in his vocal rhythm, and they weren't meshing up. And it was, you're trying to hook in to him, and with all that much syncopation going on, like catchy beats, it was hard to really sink into either or, and it just didn't mesh. I did like the harmonies. However, song structure wise, if you have to rely on a vocal harmony to lift us into the chorus, then there's a problem with the writing. So I really, unfortunately, I felt the writing itself was weak. And to Dre's point, if you're going to be in this pop area, it had that sort of dance hall feel to it. Yeah, and a little bit of a hip hop. It just didn't jam. And this is a very competitive space to be in. And I don't think that he would do well in this space yet.
Those are some bold statements there. So Joanne, if you were to do to rate this song from 1 to 10, and I assume you're kind of doing this, with your radio background, and you were talking about a PD. So for those of you that don't know, like a PD is a program director of a radio station, and a lot of times along with the music director in charge of selecting the music that plays on that station. So you were referencing, if I was a PD, you might put that song on your radio station. So what would you grade that song from 1 to 10?
I don't think it's at its perfection stage right now. So I do want to give it, it's kind of tied with one that I have in my head already that we listened to, but I want to give it a 9 to a 9.5. I really liked it.
Okay. And you know what, let's go right to Tyler now. What are you thinking, Tyler?
Well, if just song values, the song itself, the writing itself, I would give it about a 3.
Okay. Dre.
Yeah, to go off of what Tyler was saying, I think I'm leaning more towards a 5. I think it needs a lot of work. I think he's got a ton of potential, but I think the song needs a lot of work.
Okay.
7.
All right, that was Tamie Opalai, and we are going to move along. Let me just see who is next on our list here. Kesenya Parent is next. Kesenya Parent.
Don't you worry, darling, yeah, you're doing just fine. If I could see myself through the eyes of my mother, I bet $100 would put an end to the matter of this yes, no, maybe lifestyle. Don't wanna think about it. Don't make me think about it. I've been in a room full of people, people who love me, and I still feel lonely. I've been in a room full of worry, worry that's based from my shadows. And the thing that gets me every time is every time I find my mind to think I might have finally beat it. Hello, Mr. Gotta sell my soul. Make me feel power, give me control. Cause the people that love me, well, they're starting to worry, and worry is slurry to a man who is blurry. And that blood gets worse, and the storm begins to thicken, sicken and stricken. That clock keeps on ticking, well, slow down.
All right, Kesenya Parent. I'm really interested to hear your thoughts on this. Let's start with Dre. We haven't started with you for a while. So what did you think of that song, and did it provoke some emotional response in you?
Yeah, I mean, right off the bat, I could tell it seems like a more raw demo version of the song. So I tried to, just identify what the song was for itself. I was trying not to judge it based on the quality of the song. I think it has a lot of great ideas, and it seems like it needs some assistance in terms of structure. Like, I like that it seems that she's obviously going for a little bit of a unique structure to the song. So if I was giving advice, I wouldn't want to take away too much of the character she's trying to bring, but it does seem like it needs some assistance in terms of just putting the pieces together, because I think it's lacking that one element that keeps it memorable and still has some sort of a catchiness to it, especially if we're looking for like a hit single type thing.
Is this radio friendly?
I think it might be. I think with the right production, you could make this really cool and unique. I just think it needs work, and I think it's early.
All right, Kay, do you agree with that statement?
Yeah, when he ended the statement, like when I first heard her voice, I think she has a great voice. She sings with her emotion, but I kind of got lost because I felt like it wasn't completed. I felt like she had an idea here, and it's like she's sitting at the piano just kind of playing, and then she kind of put it all together. I can see where she wants to go. She needs some help in connecting it so that it can be something that whatever her niche is. If she wants it on the radio, great, but she needs someone to help her take it there, because it's not a song that I would play and jam out to. I was like, the beginning, I would like to see more of like an intro if it was going to be a piano song. And then all of a sudden she kind of switched it right, just kind of out of nowhere. And then I was like, oh, so it's not this style. And then I kind of just got a little bit confused. So I wasn't really able to kind of go with her flow because I was trying to figure her out. But I did like that the tempo of the way she played went with her lyrics.
Okay.
So yeah, she just needs some, I don't know, I lost for words with this one. Sorry.
You think with a little bit of work, there's some potential there?
Yeah, there's potential. It's just she kind of has to figure out what she wants to do with the song, where her end goal of the song is, and kind of get a style. Because I feel like I said, it's kind of everywhere, and it just kind of needs to be honed in.
Joanne, would you tend to agree?
Absolutely. I feel like the song was a little slow to start, and then it kind of got jumpy. There was some unexpected tempo fluctuations that I wasn't really kind of ready for, I think. There was no rise to action for that kind of tempo switch up. Also, then it would slow back down, a little draggy. At one point, I felt like it might be a good thing to relax and fall asleep to. But I did feel like it was raw in its state and that it's very carefree. I definitely think it needs some tweaking to make it a little bit more memorable. I do not think it's radio ready as of yet. I felt it was a mixed bag of goods. It wasn't a mixed bag of terrible stuff, but it was a mixed bag of goods. It was very eclectic.
Tyler.
Yeah, okay. So definitely I agree with what everybody said. It was like 4 different songs in one song, which, you know, to Dre's point, you don't want to take away the artist's character, right? You want the artist to be able to express him or herself. That said, it was so disjointed, I couldn't connect with her. I couldn't go along with the journey. There's been some great songwriters who were able to do that, like Freddie Mercury, for instance. You know, he's able into one song, you think, oh wow, where'd that come from? And he did it in such a way that it was seamless. You know, you're just taken along on a journey. The hook, I was having trouble with the hook, but you know, for the times such as this, you know, I believe because you believe that things will get better. It actually is a really strong message, but it wasn't couched. It was couched in such a way it was a little bit trite, but the hook, you know, I believe, I think it was a great hook for the times. I liked the outro section. I thought if she were to rework this song, take the outro and make that the song, the basis of the song, I think that she'd have something there. The rap section was really cool. Again, you know, maybe with the outro and that rap section, I think she'd have something. I would strongly urge her to get a co-writer and rework this song. And I absolutely loved her voice. I thought she was great. For some reason, she reminded me of Tracy Chapman in her tone and her authenticity.
Well, this is all great pieces of advice for this artist, for Kesenya. So we're going to start off with you. Let's go, Tyler. What do you think? 1 out of 10. What would you rate this song?
The song, it's so hard because I really liked her, but the song itself, I'd have to give it a 4, unfortunately.
Dre?
Yeah, I'm going to give it a 4 as well. It's got a ton of potential there, but for what we were presented, it needs a lot of work.
Okay.
4.
Joanne?
I'm going to give this one a 3.
And I am afraid of the street lights. Between each pole there lies a hole, darker than Bundy's soul, darker than Bundy's soul. And as I climb up the stairs to the apartment where I am afraid to sleep alone, 'cause I know follow me home.
And Kay, you were just like, yes. As soon as the song started, you were just like, okay. So you heard the song all the way through. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I held my chest. I was like, oh, I'm in love with him already. It's just my style of music that I like absolutely love. So for me, I'm like, you could do no wrong now. I love your voice. I love everything about you. I'm hooked. I'm in. I'm all in. But then when I stopped and I was like, okay, I have to write something down and actually think. I was kind of just waiting for him just to get to a point where he was gonna really show off. Cause I was like, come on, let's go. He was just kind of like, he was going. And then he would just kind of stay, and then he would go down, then he'd go, and then go back. And I was like, come on, just show me what you got. It's right there. You're almost there. And then I was left like unfulfilled. And then at the very end of the song, he kind of just like abruptly ended. And I was like, oh, but it's such a good bass. And like I said, I instantly fell in love with him. I don't even know what he looks like, nothing. And I was like, I'm in. He's awesome. But I would just love for him to kind of just tweak the song just so he can show me what he can really do, because I know it's there. Like, I'm really excited about this one.
And Dre, you were kind of nodding your head along when Kay was giving her feedback. You agree?
Yeah, I was really excited about the voice. And then right before the chorus hit, there's a brief pause and I was like, here it comes. And then it fell a little bit flat. And I was like, no, because I really wanted it to hit because I think he's got a great, overall it was a great song. I like the subject matter of it. I like the lyrical content of the chorus. I just think it was missing that high point that Kay was talking about. And the other critique I would add is I felt like the verses maybe dragged on a little bit. I was waiting for some sort of diverse element to be added to them, especially having a third verse. I feel like, that's something we don't see as often, especially in popular music these days. And if you're going to have it, I feel like, switching it up a little bit would be helpful. But overall, it was a great song. And I think he's got great character in his voice.
Tyler.
Okay, so I actually don't know what the name of the song is because I couldn't figure it out. There were a lot of potential names that this song could have been, so I didn't feel like there was a strong hook. If you're gonna start a song with "I'm afraid of the street lights, between each pole lies a," I couldn't figure out what he was saying. Like, what is he? And then I was fixated on what's between each street light, and then I think I figured out it's a hole. I think that's what he's saying. So if you're going to be that bold, take me along for the ride. And then he completely lyrically lost me after that. His second verse, I believe he started in, "I've been searching for some light. I've made some mistakes." Now, I thought that was brilliant because that's something that everybody, even like, I don't know, 16, 17-year-olds can identify. I've been searching for some light. I've made some mistakes. Like, yes. So I feel like if he had started the song with that, it would have led me in. And also, as a songwriter, you have to be careful about stringing words together just because they sound good, right? So the hole between the street lights, well, that's kind of cool, but what does it mean? I think it's important that we know what this means. I loved his voice. I love the production values. I totally agree with Dre. There's not much to lift into the feel like, oh, there's a little bit of hope here, where I felt the whole thing was a bit dark and heavy to me. Yeah, great texture in the voice, great instrumentation. The ending could have used a little bit more imagination.
Joanne, what are you thinking?
Wow, I have a lot of different emotions on this. First, I thought his vocals were excellent. I really, I liked them. I felt his energy in the song. It was mysterious, yet very constructive. I feel like it could be made for radio. I could hear this on the radio, but I can also envision it in a movie or a series pilot. I felt like it had a lot of visual to it. With some good imagination. It was dark, but it was also captivating in a way. I feel like it sets the mood, right? It sets a mood of being, foggy and dark. I think so. I think it was clever, structured cleverly. I feel like he used a great storytelling method. His hook being monsters coming after me. I kind of liked it because he reiterated the monsters in so many different ways of, you know, how he's seeing it. It's all around him in every which fashion. So I felt like that was relatable to, you know, something. I felt also to relate it to another artist, that it could be very 21 Savage, like that kind of genre. The contour of the melody I felt like was good, but in a small way, as a writer, I feel like it was anticlimactic, especially at the end. The end was just, I didn't expect that for the ending. It was, the outro was just flat.
Rating the song. So I get the impression, again, a little bit of work on the songwriting, a little bit on the production. You loved the voice, the subject matter was good. It could be something possibly with a little bit of work you could hear on the radio, but the song itself, let's give it a grade out of 10. And I'm going to start with you, Dre.
Yeah, I think this song has a lot of potential. I think the overall aspect of the song I liked. I would make the adjustment of making that hook hit. I'm going to give this one a 7.
Okay. Kay.
Oh, well, I'm biased now because I'm in love with him, so 9.5. But I gave him that low. It would have been a 10 if the ending and he hit that hook for me. So change it.
So Kay, when the ending, because a few of you mentioned the ending, and now in my head I can't remember the ending.
It just ended so abruptly.
Okay.
And the way he led the song, it was kind of just like, just cut it off. So it'd be nice to kind of end it in a really way he kind of introduced it.
Okay, and Joanne, you're nodding your head. That's what you were talking about when you were talking about the ending, right?
Absolutely. And the fact that you couldn't remember what the ending was should speak for itself, right? So for me, I give it I would grade that a 7. I think to leave a lasting impression in any kind of the arts is the most memorable, the most cash-worthy investment you can do within your creative structure, is to leave someone walking away wanting more.
Tyler.
Yeah, I absolutely love what Joanne had said as well. Yeah, it did have a mysterious quality. Someone who does that style really well, especially for film and TV, is Rayla Montaigne. Absolutely phenomenal at this, and you know, I would suggest that you have a listen. I'm going to give this. It's tough because the production values were so strong, but based on the writing itself, I'm going to have to give it a 5.
All right, guys, that was Sagan Pierce, and we are moving on right now to Paul Fitzpatrick.
Jumped in my truck, driving down this road. Seen these things won't ever get old. The town where I grew up when I was a boy. Going house to house, seeing all my friends, talking of times we had back then, wishing our time away so we could leave. Yeah, home is where the heart is, home is where I'll be. No matter where I live right now, you can't take it away from me. That swimming hole of my grandma in that old porch swing. Those memories will always be with me.
All right, Paul Fitzpatrick. All right, thoughts. Let's go to Tyler. What are you thinking?
Yeah, okay. Well, I definitely, I love this folky country sound. I love this genre in general because I love great storytelling, and nostalgia is in because we all want a little bit of an escape back to the good old days, right? When we didn't have this much responsibility on our shoulders. So I totally get that. From a strong structure point of view, was good. I would have loved to hear more of a lift into the chorus, to be honest. And the bridge, to me, I felt a little cheated in the bridge. I felt like it definitely could have been more of a lift. The hook, memories will always be with me. Yeah, I felt the stronger hook was actually when he said, home is where I'll always feel like me. That felt like a stronger hook to me. Either way, he should have, to me, in my opinion, hit the hook a little harder throughout the song. Yeah, that's big. And I like his voice. I like his voice just fine.
Radio friendly?
Yep. I think with a stronger hook. Yeah, so just a little bit of a rewrite would be great. Yeah.
All right, Dre.
Yeah, I think it was like a sweet, heartfelt song. Like I really felt the storytelling element to it, and I enjoyed that aspect of the song. The home is where the heart is rode the line of cliche when that kicked in. I think the rest of the song held that up, so it didn't completely ruin the song for me or anything. But I do feel that being careful with cliches of what you're using, and if you are using it to, not overdo it to make it seem a little too cheesy. But the song itself, I love the storytelling aspect to it. I think the vocals and production side could use some work, but I do think that this was probably a good demo that he was sending us, so I wouldn't necessarily make it lose any points on that.
Okay. Joanne.
You know what? I have to agree with all the comments here. I think it had a great outline and hit all the milestone moments. Like they were very, the story itself was very believable. And for that, I feel like it's marketable with the way that it was put together. It has a good radio vibe to it. It's singable. I feel like it's singable. But nothing really jumped out to me. There was nothing that was like hook and sink for me that made me, really want to jump on the bandwagon for this one.
Okay. And Kay.
I feel like a little repetitive now, but what I love about the genre of country music is that it gives such a great visualization. They have a really great way of storytelling. The instrumental aspect of the song was beautiful. I really enjoyed it. But the thing that I always come back to is, especially with country artists, because there's such a wide range of them, is like what separates him from all the others. And that's kind of the piece that I'm missing with him. It's not that he's a bad singer, it's not a bad song, it's just that what makes you stand out? Because to me, it was just like, yep, it's a great song, it's a great country song, it's classically written, has a storyline, but what else do you have? It kind of like makes me wanting a little bit more from him. But yeah, it was well done. What sets you apart from all the others?
So let's rate the song. What are you thinking for Paul Fitzpatrick?
I'm thinking a 7.
Dre.
I'm gonna give this one a 6.
Kay?
6.5 for me.
And Joanne Vivolo.
I always have my mic off. I'm giving this one a 6.
Sounds good. So that was Paul Fitzpatrick, and we are on our last contestant of our top 14. This is Logan Klaus.
It's like an elevator, I'm stuck in one place. Oh, I can sing the blues all I want, but this chick stays the same. And the only thing that I know for sure is that I'm digging my own grave by loving this girl. Well, there's the words on a page in a comedy book, and she's the funniest ones. She sends me paragraph after paragraph on what I did wrong, but now I'm just done. And the only thing that I know for sure is that I'm digging my own grave by loving this girl.
How we spoke about ending. I will remember that ending. You guys are the experts, not me, but now I feel you, I get you. That makes sense to me. I'm going to start with Dre. I'm not going to say anything else. Dre, thoughts?
Yeah, I really like that song. I would say it's one of my favorite ones of the day. It wasn't predictable. You know, I was kind of vibing along to it, and then they'd make a little adjustment, and I'd be like, oh, okay, I like what you did there. I love the vocalist. I love the sound. I think it has definitely, obviously, a strong rock presence, but I could hear elements of other genres involved in it. I guess I don't have much critique for this one because I like what they did with it. They know their sound. I would just say the long guitar solo. I love long guitar solos, but I do think if they're trying to make it in a super, like, let's say they wanted it on the radio, that might close a few doors because of how long the guitar solo is. So I would maybe just keep in mind that they might open more doors if they kept that shorter. But I love the diversity of the song, and it's one of my favorites.
Let's go to UK. What are you thinking?
So right away when I heard the guitar solo, it reminded me of like Tom Petty's Running Down a Dream, where I was like, let's get it, here we go. And then you go into this like awesome like guitar solo that you just never want to end. And then obviously like there's a radio edit where they never really play that song because it is such a long song. But I just want to point out that I'm super impressed just generally. The diversity that we've heard today is so amazing. And this, when it first came on, I was like, whoa, I was not expecting that, but I love it and I'm here to stay. And I kind of got like a Grease swing vibe to it. It mixed with the rock, because I kept on like, I wanted to do a little bit of jiving, but I couldn't because it was rock, and it just brought a lot of different genre aspects, like Dre was saying, which I really enjoyed. But yeah, I'm super impressed, and like this was like one of my tops for sure. It was really great.
And Tyler, I guess both to Dre and Kay, they're both kind of saying there's like little things, like Dre was saying there was bits and pieces that I didn't expect, and Kay was saying, you know, there was different elements like rock and other pieces in there. That's going to set this artist apart, no?
Well, yeah, for sure. Okay, so if I'm critiquing the song, so separating the song from the artist, I love this genre. It's got that sort of 12-bar blues, little rock, but it's fun. The hook, digging my grave, loving this girl. Yeah, you know, it was fun. And to Kay's point, you know, it would be great in a concert. You know, you can rock out. I think it would be great. The song, though, when you're doing this kind of structure, it didn't feel different enough for me than any other 12-bar blues. I mean, the melody was all right. You know, didn't pull me in. What pulled me in were the production values. So I was like trying to not listen to production values and just focus on the song because it's a songwriting competition. And you know, his voice wasn't as strong as the guitar. The guitar, whoever played that guitar, if that was him, oh my goodness, like I would definitely go see him in a hot minute. But his vocal quality was not as strong as the guitar. So that kept throwing me off. Yeah, the vocals, were a little weak, and the song was okay. But I would definitely work on the melodic structure of the song a little bit if you're going to do a 12-bar blues.
Joanne.
Okay, so I agree with everybody. And Tyler, I think you are completely brilliant with everything that you've said there. There is a mix of genres within this song. And if I had to describe it, I would say it gives a Beatles feel turned rock. Like if the Beatles turned rock, this is kind of what I picture it to be. It was very upbeat. I feel like it was danceable. I do think that it is radio worthy. As far as the long guitar solo, there could be a radio edit, just like we do with explicities. Oh, why can't I speak today? You could shorten that version just for radio play, so you could have a version put out for that specifically. I think it used a really good use of electronic altering of their tones within their setup there. Overall, I feel like it's not your typical garage band, but it kind of mimicked it a little bit.
Okay, so let's, Joanne, if you were to rate the song out of 10, what would you rate the song?
The song, I'm going to give it a 7.
Dre,
I'm going to give this song an 8.
Tyler,
I'm going to give it a 7.
Kay.
Giving it a 9. I love the guitar.
And you know, I wish I knew if Logan played the guitar, but as a host, what I try to do is I try not to, you know, watch their videos or anything, because I want to be, you know, I want to treat everyone fairly. And I didn't listen to the songs today on purpose because I wanted to feel it with you and kind of have those emotions with you guys. I think though, from my recollection, that was him playing. I think that is Logan playing. If I, Mike, I don't know if you can
Extra impressive.
Mike, do you, I remember seeing a quick video, I think, of Logan. Is that Logan playing? Do you know?
I believe it is, but cannot completely confirm.
Yeah. So, yeah.
It would make it. Honestly, it would make it.
Yeah, like if that is him playing, I feel like he has a huge career as a session player or a touring, you know, when we can do it again, player for sure. Amazing.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, we have heard 14 amazing artists today. Every song, great. I think there's a lot of potential in every single one of the top 14. And I know this is going to be hard of me to ask you right now, but thinking back to all the songs we heard today, is there one that is a standout to you? Maybe 2 or 3 that are a standout to you that you can and kind of say, yeah, I can feel this, I can hear this, or maybe is there a song or an artist that you want to make sure that the judges know, like, I dig this song and you guys should consider it? What are you guys thinking? Is there anything that stands out? I'll start with you, Dre.
Yeah, so for me, there's 2 songs that really stick out. Number 1, the Patrick Clark song of the airplane mode. That for me, that one's a hit. I think that's a hit. I think that it's relevant. It appeals to a large demographic, both younger and older, and that would be my most favorite. And my second, if I was choosing 2 people to, like, hey, I'm signing these 2 people to go ahead with these songs, I really liked the Michelle Kasiboski, if I'm saying that right. The one I'm thinking of is the song that had that like 20s, 30s old school vibe. I just really think that I could market that really well. And I think that would open a lot of doors in terms of, I don't know, I think it's a niche market, but I think it could do really well and it could be fun. You could make it into a hip hop remix as a hook. I have a lot of ideas for that one. So those are my 2 favorites.
All right, Joanne, what are you thinking? Is there a favorite, a couple of them that stood out to you?
Definitely. And I know that this one in particular got pretty beat up and didn't score so high, but for me, it was definitely a winner. And that was Tamie Opalai. I don't know, there was something about it. I felt like it was golden. And so I really liked that one. And I have to agree with she's on airplane mode, Patrick Clark. Those are definitely my top 2. Tamie does actually win over She's on Airplane Mode in my mind, but it's only because the song just, I felt it right away. I felt it. I wanted to applaud it right away. I really did want to hear Jason Derulo somewhere in there too, but yeah, I felt I don't know. It was a good one for me.
And you can tell that your background was in CHR Top 40 radio because you have that. Yeah. So I feel you there. I feel you. Kay, what about you? Let's hear. Was there one artist in particular or several that stood out to you?
Yeah, Patrick Clark, 100%. I feel like across the board, we were all so happy with his song. Secondly, we all know who I'm gonna say, but Mr. Pierce, he has my heart. I love everything about that song. And yeah, those are my 2.
All right. And Tyler, what are you thinking?
Okay, so Michelle Kasiboski. I loved her. Patrick Clark, for sure. And then John Muirhead. I thought definitely had some real potential, some co-writes there.
What was the third artist you said?
John Muirhead. Did I pronounce that right?
No, just it cut out on my end, so that's all.
Oh, okay. Yeah, John Muirhead.
And what about Patrick Clark? You said you loved that song?
Yeah, I think it's fantastic. Yep.
Okay, and what was your comment about John Muirhead there? What did you say?
I think he has some great potential. Just good co-write, a little bit of tweaking, but really some great potential there.
All right, guys, I want to thank you so much for all of your feedback. It's been great. You guys are true professionals, and this is going to mean a lot to each and every single artist to hear this feedback. You guys have been honest. You guys have been giving some great feedback that they can take into their career to move forward. So I want to thank you so much. Next step, we are going to get together with the judges and deliberate, and we are going to make it a top 8. It's going to be very hard, but with your help and direction, I think it's going to be a good one. So thank you guys so much. We really, really appreciate you being a part of the Shot Remastered.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sam.
Take care.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
We have got the judges together and we are ready to deliberate. Guys, I'm telling you, it was a great day with the industry today, and we have a lot of positive feedback and some constructive criticism. So we're going to walk you through it right now so we can narrow down our top 14 to a top 8. So are you guys ready?
Yeah.
Go for it.
Okay. We also have producer Mike in the house as well as backup in case I forget anything. Producer Mike, say hello.
Hello.
The
Hi,
voice
Mike.
responds. All right. We are going to start off with Curtis Labelle. Heard his song today, and we had some really great feedback and some constructive criticism. So I will start with the positive feedback. Everybody felt on the panel very good energy when it came to the song, had a familiar tone to it. They kind of felt that it was Elton John-ish. They also felt that the tempo was good, but the panel was really interested to see what more Curtis had to offer. And also someone said they could actually hear that type of song in a movie as almost like a soundtrack to a movie. The constructive criticism was also, it sounded a bit Elton John, that maybe this artist still needed to find his own sound because everyone just instantly thought Elton John. Also, the words don't right off the top, kind of starting off the song on a negative note as a songwriter's perspective. That was something that they said. And they also said they just didn't feel that this particular track was radio ready as of yet. Maybe needed a little bit of a rewrite, to work on it and a little bit of production work as well. Gisele de Guzman. So this song had a little bit more constructive criticism. So the good things was liked the sound of her voice, maybe a little bit of coaching would also help as well, a very good tone and lots of potential. The constructive criticism notes I have are be careful that the songs don't become a therapy session, rather than instead you need to take the lyrics and make it a therapy session to all that are listening, not just to you, but you need to pull us in so we feel the same as you feel. All right, now this one I also found interesting as well. Johnny Starks, you guys all know Johnny?
Oh, love Johnny.
Okay.
They hated him, didn't they?
But did the focus group like Johnny? That's the question.
Yeah. So with this particular song, the judges did say that there was also some issues with like the enunciation of the words. One of the judges or industry judges said they thought they heard a word, no bottle holds a kettle, but that wasn't the actual words. So it didn't, she spent a lot of time going, huh? Instead of actually listening to the song.
I know who that was, by the way.
Pardon?
I can tell by the way that was said that I know exactly who said that.
See, I thought I was going to be able to say the same thing, that I would know who said that.
Funny, because we thought the initial, like the first with Curtis Labelle, we thought they were being rough. And then we go to the next 2 or 3 and it's like 3.5, 3, 4.5. And you know what? I think the thing, even though Elton John are not, the guy who put the most production into this season was Curtis Labelle and Klaus, right. I'd say. They put the hardest production into this. So of course their scores are reflecting that.
And that's an interesting point too. But the only caveat to this that I would say with CJ's point as well is this is an artist competition, and it's not just about their song and their singing. So these scores are lower also because unlike us, they didn't actually get to meet the artists.
Yeah.
And an artist presentation is important. So I think that's why these scores are getting lower too.
But when there an argument can be made when a song comes on the radio for the first time and they're a new artist, that person on the other end of the radio that's hearing it hasn't met the artist either.
Yeah,
absolutely. But there's also a lot of game behind it, right? There's also a lot of game behind an artist before it's released.
And an unbiased, unfiltered perspective without all the things that we've seen or experienced, and I think that's interesting.
You know, the artists have been through so many different processes during this whole season, and you know, have had so much feedback from us. And I think, you know, at the end they'll feel like, okay, I'm ready to go. The work has just begun, pretty much, right? Like, this just shows you there's more to do to get yourself to that place, you know?
Yeah. All right.
These scores are like rating Eric's comedy. You can just tell.
Can't all be tense.
We're watching. I don't know.
Patrick Clark. So I'm going to start off with the positives. Everybody was doing this when the song started.
Okay.
Literally everybody.
The old chicken neck.
Where they were not doing it before. So they basically said they felt it was very Luke Bryan-esque. They thought the hook was current. It was modern. Someone said, quote, "I'm a huge fan already." Okay, moving on to Evan Farrell.
Farrell.
So the constructive feedback was, didn't really feel the energy, sounded kind of muddy. The pitch was off. The chorus felt a little flat. The vocal technique was just quite not there. And production could help make that a better song. So next is Christine Jackson. So beautiful voice, soft, relaxing sound, Sarah McLachlan-esque. Loved the voice, believed what she was singing, want to hear more from her, good flow. The harmony element part works. And for the constructive criticism, they said, be careful again, didn't connect. Guitar needed some work, needed some better flow. Watch where you're putting the harmonies. And also it was that they were talking about the therapy song again. Once again, be careful, it's not your therapy song, it's our therapy song. So when we listen to it, you feel a connection to it. And it's not just like, this is my life and it's horrible. You have to connect. So
that's what I do with my comedy.
So next is Michelle
Kasiboski?
Yeah.
Kasiboski, #1 hit Polish singer in Kingston area.
So this particular song, you could see they were all like, whoa, it was just a shock when that song came on for them. It was a surprise. They said it's a specific niche. They mentioned TikTok again. Like, this is huge on TikTok, these type of songs, and there's a fan base for it. They could hear it at jazz festivals, you know, playing in the background of, you know, a hotel or wherever they were at. They quote, "It was fantastic. There was humor in the song. There's a huge market for this type of music. And the articulation was on point." So giving the scores out of 10, 9, 9, 9, 10.
Wow. So far.
I've always believed in the Kasiboski experience, and I just want to make that very clear to everybody right now. From the first time I saw her, I'm like, she could win this whole thing. Okay, sorry, go ahead.
You said that about a lot of artists.
No, just a couple.
No longer with
just a
us.
couple. You know what? They should have listened to her do her doing that rendition of "Digging My Own Grave," because that is hauntingly beautiful.
we're going to move on to Jessica Liang. And we'll start with the constructive feedback. They said, work on the hook. They just felt it was not memorable. Someone even said, quote, it sounded very juvenile, very game show vibes. Might have worked better as maybe a duet instead of just one person singing it. Didn't like the end. A lot of them said they were not very big fans of the end of the song. And it needs a lot of work, and the hook needs to be worked on as well.
What a world. Keep saying that. The
Right?
world is upside down. I'm rethinking about all these guys and girls and what I thought about them and then the general public.
Tamie. So this was interesting. So this was very crazy for me. And I kept my opinions obviously to myself, but I could feel both sides, and it was these comments are going to throw you off. But for positive, the energy, loved the full production, very cool tone that was said by the majority of the panel. Cool voice was said by most of the panel, liked the harmony. And someone said, if I was the PD of a radio station, so a program director, I would throw that track on high rotation, which is huge in the radio world. Someone was saying they felt the song was great, and this is a positive, but it was almost missing like a Jason Derulo or a DJ Khaled. You know how they throw their names in? They kind of felt like if they redid the song and brought in like Drake for a little kind of rap in between, it would have made that song what it is.
That's a good point. Yeah.
All right, moving along. Kesenya, did I say that right? Kesenya?
Yes, you nailed it.
Parent? All right, so here we go. Let's break down the positives first. Sounded like a bit of a raw demo, but was good. Lots of good ideas in the song. Good tempo, strong message, strong hook. Loved the voice, sounded almost like Tracy Chapman. The constructive criticism, there was a hook issue. Needs some
not
work.
pulling it out, or sorry.
Yeah, they just said it needed some work, some tweaking. It's not radio ready. They were not ready for the tempo switch up. It needs more of an intro. They felt they were confused with the song. It was a mixed bag of goods, is what one industry professional was quoted as saying. And they just need a little help connecting to it. They just got lost in the song. It could be radio friendly if it perhaps got a little bit of work done to the song.
All right.
Interesting.
All right. Oh. Next is Sagan. Did I say the name right? Sagan?
Sagan. Sagan is what happens to a diaper after it's been on a baby for 6 hours.
Sagan.
Sagan, yeah.
Sagan, okay. Sagan. So let's start with the constructive criticism.
Kate, you ready? This is your boy.
I know I'm not looking at my camera. I'm looking right at Kate right now.
Okay.
If I just
so
do this.
Here we go. So let me start with the positives. Here we go. Positives for Sagan. Loved the voice, loved the song, subject matter was good, could be made for radio, and the scores again are divided 5, 7, 9.5, and 7.
Someone really likes Sagan.
Fan.
Mixed bag for Kate's boy.
So
Big smile on Kate's face.
Did I look sour?
Nope.
So next is Paul Fitzpatrick.
Oh, Fitzy boy, the good old Down East boy.
Yes. So they loved the folk sound, loved it. It was a sweet, heartfelt song. It hit milestone moments. It was marketable, had a good radio vibe, and a beautiful instrumental. In terms of the negative, they wrote, well, not negative, constructive criticism. Loved to hear loved to hear a lift to the chorus. I guess if you're a songwriter, you understand what that means. A strong hook they wished it had a stronger hook. Be careful with cliches throughout the song. The vocals and production could use work. Nothing really jumped out as it being separated from the rest. And someone said there's really nothing that separates this artist from the other artists. It just sounds like something, you know, there needs to be that something that separates the artist. So for this, it was a pretty average score straight across the board. 6, 7, 6.5, and 6 for this song. And the last song was from Logan Klaus.
Klaus.
All right. So when this song started, everybody's eyes went ping because it starts off like just it goes right at it. So the constructive criticism was, now this, okay, so I'll read you the constructive criticism and then tell you what they said after that. They wished the guitar solo was shorter. And then they said, well, wait a minute. No, we don't, because that goes with the type of music. However, they were saying they love the song for concert. So if you go to see the concert, that's, you know, you want to hear that guitar solo, but maybe make a radio edit of that song where it's not such a long guitar intro, or not a guitar intro, a guitar solo, excuse me. So it's time for you guys to decide the top 8. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna break it down and we're going to get you guys to select two people as a group. And then moving forward from there, you'll each pick another individual to move forward. So let's start with the group as a whole. Give me 2 people that you think should be going through.
Much worse,
There you
CJ.
go.
There you go.
There you
There you
go.
go.
Oh,
No.
Now I'm crying from what
Look at all that
Eric
hair
said.
of yours.
Don't get started with me, Duchess.
all right, so let's kind of go through this. And I think what Eric said was you guys were kind of on board with Patrick, Clark, and Michelle. I just want to go through and make sure that everybody does agree with that for the choice that you're all going to make together. So CJ, what are you thinking with those 2? Do you agree Patrick should be in the top 8, excuse me?
Yes.
Shane?
Yes.
Eric?
Yes.
Danya?
Yes.
Kate?
Yes.
Jen?
Yes.
Oh,
More Patrick than Michelle, but yes.
Okay, so
Drama.
Patrick,
Well, that's just Patrick, right? We haven't got to Michelle yet.
no, we haven't got to Michelle
Oh.
yet. So
Okay.
that's
Oh, sorry.
I thought that was Patrick and Michelle. So yes
I-
to that.
Yeah,
too.
me too.
So
Yeah.
let's chat a little bit about Michelle then. So a lot of you did say Michelle. So let's kind of go through and see if we're all in agreement. So Danya, I'm going to start with you.
Yes, I think she's very unique. It's a different market, but something different that we need. Yep.
Kate.
I'm gonna say yes. I love her work ethic, and I think she really shines at what she does.
Eric.
Yes, I love Michelle. Always have, always will.
Jennifer.
I really like Michelle, like you say, the work ethic. She takes her artistry seriously. The only caveat I have to it is, I don't know, there's something about the marketability or something, or actually maybe she's like too good. It's hard to explain, but it's like, I'm not sometimes feeling that she absolutely deeply believes it, that it's more just, she's doing it by formula. Not to say she's formulaic, but that's kind of, but I get why people like her. I totally get why people like her.
I can't see her on, I can't see the radio thing, but I think she could be placed, like movies, like that kind of thing, something dramatic, like that jazzy kind of background.
Yeah, I'm rewatching Boardwalk Empire right now, and she reminds me of Boardwalk Empire in a good way, like that era, like that. Yeah.
So Jen, hold that thought for a second. Let me
Okay.
just go to Shane and CJ. And do you guys feel Michelle is a group choice? Shane?
Yeah, I do. And I think it's what Danya said, you know, it's different, it's unique. I don't think it's for radio, but that doesn't really matter. But I also agree with Jen a little bit too. So, but yeah, for sure to make the top 8, yes.
CJ?
I'm going to agree with Jen on this one.
Okay. So right now we have 4 that say yes and 2 that say So if I'll ask you guys this, Jen, if it's not Michelle, who would you put in that spot?
I would probably put Paul Fitzy.
Oh, me too.
Wow.
DJ.
But I like Michelle.
I would probably put funny enough, probably Paul as well.
Okay. So with that being said, Shane, Danya, Kate, and Eric, does that change your vote?
No.
No.
I think Fitz should be third.
Yeah.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
I'm not, and yeah, it's hard to say because I'm not saying Michelle's out. So yeah, maybe I'm saying, I'm not by any means saying Michelle's out in my mind.
Well, we have to come up with a unanimous decision.
Unanimous on 2? Okay.
Yeah, on 2. We have to have a group decision on who is going to make that second spot where we all agree. So it's.
I just throw out Logan Klaus.
Yes.
Yeah,
thank you.
That's good too.
That's I know.
The industry really liked Logan. They liked his song. They loved that if he plays guitar, they loved that. So they were on board with that, and he had some pretty good scores.
He's young and super talented. Super talented.
Yeah,
I agree.
So let's
Why don't we say Patrick and Logan?
Let's see.
with that.
So
I like that.
So Logan, let's go with Logan. I'm going to start with you, Danya. Would you say yes to Logan?
Yes, I would.
Kate?
Yeah.
Jen?
Yes.
Eric?
Hundo P.
Shane?
100%.
CJ?
Oh, he's giving us that mysterious silence. Come on, you can do it.
You've loved him forever.
Yeah, let's not get suspense.
I do, but this is top 8 now.
Top 8, which means 8 will not.
I've already got my top 8 checked off. So yeah.
All right, yes to Logan. Yes to Logan.
Okay, so there we have it. 2 of the top 8 is Patrick and Logan. We are all unanimous with that decision. We all feel confident with that decision. I'm going to give you 10 seconds. If you change your mind, please speak up now. Patrick and Logan are our first 2.
What happened to Michelle?
No, you have to pick 2.
You have to pick 2.
Pick 2 unanimously.
It was either Logan or Michelle.
Oh,
Michelle's still going to be top 8.
Saturday night, just making plans. I was listening.
Gee. All right. Well, guys, here's where things get a little bit more serious. You guys will now each be picking one more person that will make the top 8, and you're going to give me that name right now.
Michelle.
Oh, I got it first. Sorry.
So we're going to start. I think I heard Danya first. So Danya.
Sam, after all we've been through together, I cannot believe you would pull that on me.
Michelle, yes.
All right, Eric, I will give you an opportunity to pick someone
Wow.
else that belongs in the top 8.
Fitz.
Oh.
Okay. Shane.
Well, it will be an unpopular choice. Tamie.
It's not unpopular.
Not unpopular. Well,
No,
it would be very popular.
I
if it was
like him
top
a
5.
lot.
Well, the judges,
That's a good choice.
I think that's a good choice. The judges felt, it's not the judges, the industry felt that, that's a good choice.
Oh,
I'm going to go
boy.
with Kate.
Sagan.
Oh, that's a
Surprise,
surprise. Wow.
I'll take predictable for 200, Alex.
Jennifer.
I'm going to bring on Christine.
CJ, it all comes down to this. You have the final say on who rounds out the top 8. I need your decision now.
The last artist going into the top 8 is going to be John Muirhead.
All right.
John Muirhead.
Okay, give us a top 8.
All right, here we go. Top 8, baby. Patrick, Logan, Michelle, Paul, Tamie, Sagan, Christine, and John. Those are our top 8, baby.
Congratulations. Wait, who's Logan Klaus again?
Now that we have our top 8, there's only one step left before we find out who will become crowned winner of this season of The Shot Remastered, the finale where all 8 artists will perform their original song live virtually in order to win your vote. That's right, you at home will choose the winner. Tune in live Sunday, November 22nd for the season finale of The Shot Remastered.